It's that time again, Dolph. It's another Saturday. That means it's time for another episode of Unfiltered Copenhagen.
And what a great Saturday it is.
It's pretty nice out.
It is. Man, every time I get here, I don't know if it's because I'm excited or if I just walk fast, but I always feel that I get here like sweating.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just really excited for recording this for it.
Yeah, hop, skip, and a jump on over here. A little pep in your step.
Well, I
on the
wouldn't
way.
say that I'm skipping,
No?
but maybe I'm skipping in my mind.
Yeah, got some soldiers on the streets. Did you see any on your way?
No? Where?
By the synagogue. I think there was 160 soldiers or something that are replacing 140 or 150 police that are like permanently stationed. You know how they have those police by the synagogue?
Yeah.
Now they have soldiers with rifles and
Wow,
everything.
so it's like an upgrade.
Yeah, well, you could call it that.
Well, I mean, soldiers sounds more serious than just police. So what did they raise the DEFCON level or what?
I think it was more about allowing those police to actually do some police work, maybe. But I'm not 100% sure.
Maybe we just want to become a bit more American, you know? So it's like it's not enough just with regular police. We just need some military trained people on the streets ready for any emergencies, you know?
Could be ready to shoot somebody down at a moment's notice.
Terrorism's on the rise for it. Haven't you checked the news? Trump is arguing with what's his name? Kim something?
Kim Jong-un.
Yeah, I never know. I have such a hard time
But
distinguishing between him and the father and the grandfather and.
But is that terrorism or isn't that just like a dictator?
No, well, it's all the same for it. You can label, you know as well as I do, you can label anything terrorism nowadays.
You just got to live in fear, right?
Yeah, it's fear sells. What
Yeah.
have you bought? What have you bought for based on fear? You have made some. You have certainly made some purchases at some point. I mean, you had the fucking gun for God's sake. You carry the gun in the States, you know? That was not out of I just want to randomly have fun. It must have been out of fear. Why else?
Not only.
Well, if you're carrying it with you, it's certainly some kind of defensive measure, right?
It's to be prepared.
Yeah, exactly.
Because everybody in Texas has one, so you know that pretty much without one, you feel a little bit naked or vulnerable.
Yeah, but if you're not, I'm not saying that you are afraid, but if there was no need to carry one,
right?
Then
if everybody was a pleasant person, and before they were going to do anything violent to you, they called you in advance and gave you a little heads up. Hey, I'm going to pencil you in on this day for a little violent encounter. Make sure to bring your gun that day only.
Yeah,
you don't need it the rest of the days.
Like a good old school duel. Meet behind the barn at 12.
Yeah, that's right. 10 paces and turn.
Did they really do the duels like that?
Yeah, I think so.
What if someone just took nine steps?
Well, you just maybe you take 8.
Well, yeah. Then what's the point? You just before you take any step, you just elbow the other guy from behind.
I don't know, man. It's
or just a mule kick.
Got a sense of honor back then.
And people watch that shit, right?
What, a duel?
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
Because I guess if someone took only 9 steps, he could have been put in jail or some kind of vigilante
justice.
Like, you can't do that.
Yeah, exactly. I counted only 9 steps. Well, the other guy's already dead, so I mean, it's like
I know it's not going to bring him alive, but
no.
But maybe it would stop you from cheating.
It might. I don't know too much about old duels, but I do know what I've seen in the movies and stuff like that, which is that take 10 paces and draw and, turn and fire, whatever.
Yeah, if it's in the movies, it must be true.
In Washington, it's still legal to have a good old-fashioned fist fight duel. Like
Washington State.
Yeah. 2 grown consenting adults can agree to like a fist fight.
And the police can't stop it.
Right. It's legal.
I think I heard that on Joe Rogan's podcast, actually.
Yeah.
Recently.
I mean, it's, I don't know. Maybe I heard it on his podcast
But it
too.
happens? Or is it
I
just one of those laws
I
that you
guess,
can't have
man.
sex while there's a kangaroo outside your door or
But
something like that?
but sometimes there's some people that get into it in like the bar or whatever,
Yeah,
and they want to fight, and it's like, all right, meet me outside, and like
sure. I mean, if
that's
they're not killing it, like literally
killing each other.
killing each other.
Yeah, let them go sort it out, man. Hug and kiss afterwards.
Who is it? No, yeah, there's not really. If people see someone fight, usually there's always someone that
So,
will want to stop it, right? I mean,
yeah.
sometimes you really should
I
just.
think there's 3 types of people. There's one guy that wants to grab his camera and be like, "Oh, man, all my friends in Facebook are gonna love this shit." And then there's another guy that's always, riling everybody up like, "Oh, man, you gonna let him say that about you? Nah, you can't let him do you like that. Come on, man, put your hands up, put your hands up." Just getting you fucking, like, pumped
Uh-huh.
and, just being like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, hit him with the jab, hit him with the jab." And then you got one person that's trying to break it up all the time too. I feel like that's the 3 main archetypes of people watching a fight.
Which one? Which one would you be?
Probably the guys that, "Oh, yeah, hit him with the right." Just kinda instigating it a little bit. Why not?
Well, I'm sure there's some people who are, will be just watching it like in.
Passively.
Yeah, that's probably what I would. I mean, if if it was something
If
that
it's somebody
was.
I don't know at all, yeah, I'd probably do the same thing. But if I knew anybody there, I would just, "Yeah, yeah, get him," you know? I don't know. What if that's your buddy and he's got the glasses off, ready to start fighting?
Yeah, are you thinking in someone in particular?
Well,
Yeah, maybe
yeah, maybe.
somebody'd be willing to instigate fights. I don't really know people who get into fights. One of my
No,
friends
not
yesterday,
really.
I went to dinner with a few of my friends yesterday, and he was actually saying like, I think we stopped at Bagen in Copenhagen, and my friend was like, "Yeah, I've been in a few fights in there. I started 2 of them," and I was just thinking, how many fights have you been in? 2? It sounds like the kind of guy who, yeah, I've been in a few fights. I don't do anything wrong, but I started them.
What did you guys eat last night?
We went to Cox and Cows.
Was it good?
Well, you've been to Cox and Cows before, right?
Is it the same one that we used to go to?
No,
Or
well, they just opened a new one in Copenhagen.
I thought the place never was really that good.
I think the place was great in the beginning, either because there was less competition or because I don't know, my standards were lowered. I don't know.
Or maybe they cared more when they first opened and now they just got
Maybe
lazy.
that as well. Yeah, I remember I really loved it when it started, and the last 2-3 times I've been at.
It's
I
kind
mean,
of
it's not that I didn't like it,
a little bit
but
underwhelming
yeah,
though.
yeah, I felt underwhelmed. I mean, the reason we went there yesterday was because one of our friends, he knows one of the owners, I guess, and we got 50% discount on everything. So that was very nice
Well,
because we just splurged. We had cocktails, we had desserts, just had everything.
well, that's one way to make an underwhelming dish about 50% better. Not have to pay as much.
But one of my friends was actually saying that he felt the same way. Like he felt the burgers were smaller. We got a governor because I mean, if you go there,
You need to get the
yeah,
governor.
at least for me, that's what I always get. And my friend was saying that he feels that the burger's like 25% smaller or something than the first time, I guess, or the last time he tried them. But it would go with the idea that they were better in the beginning.
Yeah, I think also probably the competition. I mean, once you've had like a greasy spoon or a gasoline grill burger or even a yo burger,
Hmm.
you're pretty much ruined for any other burger that's not as good as that. Like, yeah, whatever, you'll eat it, but you'd be like, man, this isn't a fucking greasy spoon burger.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it is because the burger was cooked nice. It was just I don't know.
The bread, maybe.
I haven't been I've been underwhelmed the last times I've been there.
I'd like to get a good steak. I haven't had a nice steak in a while.
I should go to Mash
Yeah,
or
maybe.
Retour. There's Retour Steak. I haven't been there.
I think I went there actually.
And
I want to say that was where we went. We went for some company dinner at one point, and I think we went to some nice steak. I thought it was Retour. Maybe it wasn't.
It could have been.
I
I
f I feel
think.
like it was, though. I
Where
feel
was it located? Do you know?
not too far from, uh, Rojos Plaza or
Mm-hmm.
Rojos Plaza,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Um, yeah, I can't I was a little bit drunk that night, so I can't really tell you with the precision. But if that was Retour, it was pretty good.
Okay, good to know.
I might just order a steak off Just Eat. There's an
That
American grill.
that can't be good for
No,
you.
seriously, man. There's an American grill place that actually I ordered a steak from like a month ago because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Every now and then we don't want to cook and we're lazy, so we just order something from Just Eat. And after a while, you have your 3 or 4 places that you order from all the time.
Yeah.
But then you're like, "Fuck, man, I want something new."
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, "Oh, let's check out this American grill and see what they have." And they had a steak, so I was like, "Should I order a steak from Just Eat?" I was like, "All right, what could go wrong?" And it got here, and it was really
Oh,
good.
so you did it already?
Yeah, yeah. This was
Okay.
like a month and a half ago,
Yeah.
and it was really good actually. So I might do that again.
And it was warm and all that?
Yeah, they came here really fast, and it was like still super warm and fresh, and it was
And
like it
juicy?
was like yeah, medium rare, like still pink, and a little bit of
Nice.
maybe not blood, but some red juices flowing. It's quite good.
One interesting thing about yesterday as well, I think it's the first time that we got the food before we got the drinks.
Really?
Yes, it was very strange. We got our food,
So does that mean they
and
were slow with the drinks, or does that mean they were fast with the food?
I feel that they just forgot about our drinks. That's what I feel that happened. Because it makes no sense. Not even from a business perspective, it makes no sense, you know?
No, you want
It's like,
people to be drunk so they can order more, and
or even just let's give them the drinks because they're gonna be drinking before the food comes, and then when the food comes,
they're gonna be
they
thirsty.
might need another drink, you know?
Yeah,
So it makes no sense whatsoever. I think they just forgot.
those guys are slacking, man.
It's a new restaurant. Maybe they
It's not a well, but it's not a
no,
new
it's not a new
chain. It's like a franchise, a new
yeah, but
restaurant location.
maybe all the people working there they haven't worked
I'm telling you, man, they need like a burger enthusiast at the top, a guy that really cares.
for. You should start some kind of blog or something like that where
The burger
all you
blog.
do is you review burgers, you know?
Uh,
And I can even tell you an extra suggestion. You openly get a hit or two from the crafty before you go,
yeah,
you know? And you just review it live, you know? It's kind of like as you're eating, either you're filming yourself or you just film yourself in quick.
sounds like a lot of work. I mean,
Yeah, but
I just want to enjoy the burger. I don't want to have to review it. I'll do it. I'll do it like an after action report.
okay, so you just go with someone that will film you, and all you have to do is eat and talk.
But when I'm eating a good burger, I don't want to talk. I
Yeah,
just
but
want to
then
eat.
that's part of the review. I mean,
So just a
if
video
it's
of
so
me
good that
smacking my
if it's
lips
so
and chewing
good,
that burger.
well, you can edit it afterwards. You know, you don't need to put the I don't know how long it takes you to eat a 10-minute video of you just eating a burger.
Uh,
But it will. I mean, it's a review in itself. If you're like, this is so good, I can't let this go.
can't even talk.
Yeah,
I guess so.
I'd watch it.
What
And
else?
there's so many burger places
Yeah.
that you would have business for the
But
whole year.
there's only like 3 or 4 that I care about going to. All the rest of the places suck.
Yeah, but if it was your job to be a burger reviewer, you know?
Yeah, but once I've reviewed like, I don't know, 10 or 12 burgers in the city, I feel like I've reviewed them all.
Well, but you can also review different burgers within the same restaurant.
Same location, but I always get them the same order every time. I don't get a bunch of other
Yeah, but
shit
if
on
it
them.
was your job, Ford, you would
Who's
do
going to
some.
pay me for fucking burger reviews?
I would. Advertisers will pay you.
I give them away for free, the reviews.
Maybe a segment on this podcast then.
That's right. Weekly burger after action report.
Would you eat a weekly burger from a different place?
I guess. Like I said, there's only like 4 that I really like, and I don't want to like force myself to eat a shittier burger every week just
Okay.
because I need to keep it
Okay.
fresh for
Never
the
mind,
review.
Ford. Never mind.
I think it's a bad
I'll just do it
idea.
myself.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'll eat a burger every week, but I want a good one every week. I don't want to have to review a shitty one. What else is going on in the city?
I don't know. Is that a setup for something?
Well, I don't know. We talked about the soldiers. Wasn't there also the Inga Stoiberg? She posted like the Mohammed cartoon on Facebook again, and then
Yeah,
what is it? The immigration ministry or the integration ministry website got hacked
yeah.
by
Well, she
some
didn't
Turkish
post the image.
hackers.
She made some post on social media about how she had the Mohammed image as her
Uh-huh.
wallpaper or background on her iPad, and explaining why she had it, you know? And I guess some people just look like, "The fuck is wrong with you?"
What was her like explanation for why
Ooh,
she had it on her background?
I can't remember, but it's something along the lines of, "Oh, freedom of speech. This means so much for the recent history of Denmark and fighting against oppression or whatever." Something along those lines, you know.
Yeah.
So she was proud of having it because of that. But I mean, we kind of know that that's not really the reason, right?
Do you think the reason is that just she hates all Muslims?
Well, if you want to put it bluntly, maybe, yeah,
I mean,
or at
just
least closer to that than to just I'm here just fighting for the rights, or maybe I mean it's a valid rationalization to make
yeah. I mean,
her
I feel like there's probably a mix of both. It's probably a little bit of hatred and then being like, "Oh, but it's freedom of speech." Like, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
kind of yeah, trying to rationalize it.
It's not even that beautiful an image to look at every day, you know. I don't know.
Yeah. Why would you have it on the background of your iPad though? Who even looks at the background of an iPad? You're always in an app if you're doing anything. What do you scroll around looking at icons? Or I guess when you unlock it, you can say, "Oh, yeah, look at that funny image. Nice cartoon."
Maybe she just wanted to get a reaction out of
Well,
people, you
she
know.
got one.
She did.
So
I mean,
that was what she got. A
if
real
we had made a
reaction.
if we had made a post like that about the and put it on the podcast page, you know, maybe
Maybe
that would get a lot of new followers, you know. It's
uh,
like all publicity is good publicity.
oh, she's got a quote here. Let's see.
Yeah, but apparently they got the foreign minister webpage or something like that got
Yeah.
hacked
So
because of
this
that.
is what she said on her Facebook.
Hmm.
Quote, "The Mohammed drawing with Kurt Westergaard leading the way has helped define Denmark as the free society we are. They show we are a free country where options are broken and you can say what where options are broken and you can say what you want and I'm a little confused about this.
Options.
They show we are a free country where options are broken and you can say what you want and criticize what you want." That doesn't even make any sense.
What do you mean with options are
It
broken?
must be a bad translation from Danish. She also says, I have Kurt Westergaard's famous drawing as my background image on my iPad. I have it there because I love Denmark. I love the foundation of freedom, rights that generations before us have laid out and which our lovely country is founded on. Honestly, I think we should be proud of the Mohammed drawings. So that got like,
I don't necessarily disagree with that, but it just doesn't feel that it again. It feels like some kind of rationalization, you know, or some explanation for. It's like, well, I like having the Nazi flag not because I'm a Nazi, but because I like the
freedom of
this. No, I
speech.
like the swastika. It's such a beautiful symbol back from the Hindus and stuff like that. You know, it's just it feels a bit like a. I want to find a
A reason to
reason.
justify this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after that, it got like 20,000 reactions, 7,000 comments, 2,000 shares on Facebook. And then the immigration ministry website was hacked or attacked on Wednesday or Tuesday or Wednesday and basically has been down or was down for quite some time after
So
that.
so it's just a denial of service or
I'm not sure if it was denial of service or something else. But then let's see. Turkish hackers want an apology for her cartoon post. The Turkish hacker group Aslan Neferlo Tim Team, I don't know, which took responsibility for the cyber attack that shut down the immigration ministry's website this week, has demanded a governmental apology for immigration minister Inga Stoiberg's decision to post an image of one of the cartoons on Facebook. Um, the hackers said they would launch new attacks unless an apology is made for the quote violations of the prophet. If an apology is not forthcoming, we'll attack energy and banking systems. Currently, we're in the process of hitting Denmark's national bank, they wrote. What do you think?
I don't know. It's just a bunch of It sounds like a bunch of kids wanting to feel that they have some power.
Yeah.
There was something somewhat similar back in Portugal in the early 90s because of Indonesia and Timor. Like, because Timor was Portuguese land, and I think we gave it back to Indonesia or something like that.
Okay.
And there was some, or we gave them independence. Like, we basically just said, yeah, you're independent now. And then, of course, Indonesia just, there was like some big war there. I might not be entirely accurate with my details, but the gist of it is that, and there was and there were some Portuguese hacker groups who actually hacked, and this was like back in '95 or something like that, who hacked some Indonesian websites just as some kind of, what do you call it, political cyber warfare, if you want to call it that.
Hmm. Yeah. I don't know. All those things are kind of lame usually. The like especially if they're like script kid type defacements and
Hmm.
stuff. It's not really a sophisticated attack. It's
Well,
just like
yeah,
low
back in
hanging
the day,
fruit.
it was
Yeah.
defacement. But I mean, this was '95 as well. It's like 22. Oh, shit, it's 22 years ago.
You feel
It's a
old?
long fucking time ago. Yes, 22 years ago.
Jesus, that is a long time.
95.
Well, I don't know what to ultimately say about this Inga Stoiberg thing. She's trying to make life harder for me, so I already don't like her.
Yeah.
I heard my girlfriend was saying there was somebody posted on the Americans in Denmark group that they got a letter. They had been here like 3 or 4 years already,
Hmm.
and I think they already passed or they were testing for PD3, which is the language like the Providence tray.
Yeah.
That's like the one that's required for citizenship and all that.
Hmm.
They sent them a letter saying that they should be working towards the higher level, like if you want to have school here, if you want to go to like college or university here,
Hmm.
you need like the higher level, like module 6.
Oh, you need more
Yeah,
than.
you need even more than PD3. But they weren't even going to school. They're like already educated, just working here.
Yeah.
And they sent them some letter saying, "Hey, you need to be working on PD6, otherwise, you're not going to get, I don't know, residence or something." It's posted on Facebook. I don't have really a whole lot of details. I don't think we've gotten anything similar, but I'm going to be so pissed if they're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, learning the language to a fluent extent in PD3 is not enough. You need to know like university level Danish to be qualified here." It just feels like they keep moving the goalpost every week. I just hear about
Yeah.
some shit. They just keep making it harder and harder and harder, and then posting shit like this Mohammed cartoon and being like, "Oh, it's because I love free speech and Denmark's so great because of that." And come on, man, you're just basically a racist cloaking it with some bullshit.
Yeah, but shouldn't we have space for them as well? For
Well, I
it's
mean,
a
I
it's
guess you can
tricky.
you can argue whether you should be able to do that or not. I mean, I guess there's a fine balance, right? You want people to be able to be critical, but you don't want it to be so incredibly, I guess, derisive or inflammatory that
Hmm.
it causes a real problem within your society. So
But that's kind of the thing with
where do you draw that
democracy,
line?
right? I mean, if all of a sudden you just look at fucking Trump, or just make someone worse, stereotypically even worse than Trump, if all their ideals are within the law, so if they're not saying, yeah, let's just kill all these people with highlights on their hair or whatever, just
Yeah.
pick some random thing. And if the majority wants to vote for them, who are that's basically the pillars of democracy.
Was it how is the immigration minister voted for? Do people directly vote for an immigration minister, or do they
No, I
vote for
doubt it.
certain
No,
parties and then the
I
parties
think
put
it's
them in
the
power?
I think it's the party. I think it's the prime minister. Like, when the prime minister was elected,
Yeah.
either I don't know if it's before the election or after the election, he chooses who the minister is going to be.
From what I heard from some people that I talked to, some of our coworkers and stuff like that, apparently the last immigration minister was a real idiot, and I guess this one is too.
I can't remember who it was, to be honest.
They could stand to have maybe a good person in there, a little more fair and balanced type views.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that. I can't. I really can't remember who it was
Yeah.
before.
You said you've seen Inga Støjberg in the street a few times now.
Yeah, I've seen her twice already. I've passed right by her
We
side.
need to get her on a podcast, man.
I saw her both times in Copenhagen.
Yeah? She
So
must live around there,
so
huh?
my feeling is that, yeah, and she was walking. So my guess is that she was coming from Folketinget, from the parliament.
You don't think she was coming from Moonfisher?
No, she was coming from she was coming from after the bridge.
Oh, okay.
Maybe she was heading towards Moonfisher, you know?
Wow.
One can only hope. But yeah, I saw her both times around there. So my guess is that she was coming from work, and she probably lives around in Christianshavn or Amager.
Hmm. There you go. Have a cartoon or
But it's
two.
kind of cool. It was actually quite fun to see her just walking around
I think that is cool that you
normal, like
see
without bodyguards or anything like that, you know? Because yeah, I could easily imagine some crazy,
person attacking her.
yeah, some crazy person who would be affected by this is this is a very elaborate way of trying not to say some terrorist. Some crazy person who doesn't agree with her, let's just put it like that, just jumping on her and doing something, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I passed right by her. I could have easily just
You could have done
elbowed her
it. Ooh.
by mistake or on purpose.
Mhm.
Not that I would ever do such a thing.
I feel like they might kick you out of the country.
Do you think so?
I don't know. I have no idea. You're EU though. You're not Danish, right?
Yeah, but I mean, if I could prove that it was a mistake,
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of sometimes you just bump into people, right?
Yeah, I
Maybe not
guess
with
so.
maybe not with the elbow on their nose, but
Jesus Christ.
I'm not condoning any kind of violence. I'm
What
just
else we
making it
got?
sure.
Speaking of violence, Dolph, there's a Danish teen missing in Italy, and he was found
He's
dead.
not missing anymore. Yeah.
Well, actually, I think he still is missing, but well,
Then how can he be found dead?
okay, never mind. This article was written so poorly. All right, update. Danish teen missing in Italy, found dead. The 19-year-old reportedly, come on, give me a break here, you know?
I think it's
He either fell or jumped from a bridge in Florence, Italy after a night out with schoolmates. His parents have been notified. Boy, this article is sorely lacking on information.
It's all about the headline for it.
Yeah. So apparently they were having a night out at a nearby disco. How do you fucking fall off a bridge?
Well, it depends on the bridge, but and depends on your level of intoxication, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
I actually there's something I have a funny story. When a few years ago at one of my previous workplaces, on a Christmas party, there was a Christmas party near the, how do you call it? Near the, not the lakes, but near the water, near the harbor, whatever.
Canals.
But it wasn't just the canals. It was further out, like in Christianshavn, you know, and you have a lot of, basically Christianshavn is an island, so you have a lot of water there.
Mm-hmm.
Like in Holmen, around there, and apparently during the Christmas party, somebody went to take a piss on the water, and they were so drunk that they just fell, and they didn't die. They were found, or they were, yeah, but they didn't die. Anyway, the next year, on the preparation for the Christmas party again, there was a big sign like, don't jump in the water. It's like it's forbidden to jump in the water during this Christmas party.
Yeah.
And it just became a meme throughout the years.
Just don't jump in the water.
Yeah, so it can happen, you know. You can just be so intoxicated. Maybe he was taking a piss, actually,
Pissing off the bridge. Somebody just pushed him in, or maybe he fell.
or maybe just slipped. Yeah, who knows?
Slip and fall.
Again, it depends on also the bridge, what kind of bridge it is, what kind of protection it has.
Yeah. Guardrails and such. Well, that's a sad deal.
Maybe he took some acid and he thought he could fly.
Yeah.
Isn't that the stereotypical story?
Is it really? Because it's not usually the first thing that comes to my mind.
No, but that's the whole. Bill Hicks had a bit on it, like young man on acid jumped off a building because he thought he could fly. It's like, why didn't you try to fucking take off, from the ground like a bird? You don't just jump off a building. If
There
you
were
think you can fly, try to take off from the ground.
there was some story recently from the U.S. about a guy that was on psychedelics, and he thought the concrete was like the ocean, and he was like diving into it, like jumping into the concrete when the cops arrived.
I think those are the stories that make drugs seem bad.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like you're doing the most rational thing at that point.
Yeah, but I think that has more to do with the kind of person, than with the drug itself or the concrete.
Yeah, I would
I never
tend to
felt like
agree.
jumping into concrete and swimming in it.
No, I don't think so. It doesn't sound very pleasant, no matter what state you're in. Oh
Okay, so
man,
well,
what a
that's tragic. Some kid died. Yeah.
so some kid died. Speaking of kids dying, we could talk about some other kids dying.
Okay.
The two students, the girls that were killed, in that
Oh, the jet ski
the
incident.
rental boats. Yeah, we
Yeah.
talked about that. I don't know what was that, like episode
I don't know. It
15,
was
16, something.
something like that.
There's some updated news on that. I think we actually briefly talked about it last week.
Mm-hmm.
But the prosecutor's office have, I guess, they've still hold the 24-year-old driver for negligent manslaughter, but they've also charged him and his 7 companions for endangering the lives of other random people in the port. And so after the accident, the main guy involved was held, and then the 7 comrades that were with him, which was 6 men and 1 woman, were all released.
7 comrades.
Oh, that's what it says in the article.
Yeah.
Um, the investigation has shown that the police believe all 8 sailed ruthlessly in the harbor, and there were 2 other serious close-up situations shortly before the accident. The police received a number of videos taken by witnesses. I saw some of those right after the incident. They were creating like big waves with the watercraft, and coming like really close to other crafts and like splashing them and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. When he hit the go boat directly, one of the girls died like instantaneously of like brain lesions or something, and then the other died the next day in the hospital, and a third passenger broke her jaw. Then the 24-year-old's girlfriend that was on the jet ski with him was thrown into the water. He rescued her before escaping the accident and then just fled the scene.
Oh, but she fled in the water
Yeah, I guess she was
when
on the
they
back
hit
of the
them,
jet
or
ski when they hit the other boat, and then she fell off. So he went around and picked her back up,
oh,
and then just left the other people to die, I guess.
yeah.
It's so fucked up. I can't even understand. Anyways, he was apparently crying in court and wanted to be released, but he has some past convictions of violence already, like aggravated assault and robbery and some other shit. So they're not allowing him to be released for now.
Is that him in that picture?
Yeah, this is him, but his face is blurred, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, do you really want
I guess it doesn't
to
really
make his
matter.
identity public like that?
I don't know. Why not?
Get some vigilante justice again?
Yeah, sure.
It's just like the guy who took only 9 steps instead of 10.
Yeah. Yeah, him and his friends are also prosecuted under Section 252 of the Criminal Code, which may give up to 8 years in prison to endanger human life for all of them. And they've
And
also been charged with several violations of the Maritime Safety Act.
but the friends, basically,
They were doing the same kind
they're
of
doing
shit.
the same thing.
Yeah, pretty
It
much.
just happened that it wasn't them who hit the
I guess so.
girls.
Sad deal all around.
Yeah,
I
this,
don't know.
this podcast is going on a bit of a
Like
tragic
it's-
spin, huh? Should we talk about the Greenlandic girl that died as well, or whatever it was?
Should we?
I don't know. Just to keep on the.
Yeah, I mean, if we might as well just get all of the bad, negative, sad news out of the way. A Greenlander gets 19 years prison for killing a young girl on the island. What is this?
No,
thing?
no, no. On
that right?
Iceland. On Iceland. In Iceland.
Oh, in Iceland. Yeah, sure. One of the most eye-catching killing cases in Iceland last year has been given its preliminary sentence. Uh oh,
For killing.
this guy killed her, Birna, and for hash smuggling. So 19 years for killing a girl and hash smuggling.
Oh, so it's a Greenlandic man. I
Well,
thought it
that's
was
what it says here, but
I thought it was woman on woman crime.
uh, you never know. One man has been released and cleansed, while Thomas Olson has been in prison. So I guess yeah, it is a man that killed her.
Oh, okay. Can you scroll all the way up? Because
Sure.
there was only pictures of the girl, I guess, of the
Yeah.
victim. So
Yeah.
I thought
And they look different here. Like, I
yeah, they
guess it's
look a bit
pictures of the same
different.
girl, but
Yeah,
I mean, it looks like two different people. So I thought the one on the left killed one on the right or something
yeah,
like
me
that.
too.
Because if
That's
you just showed me this, I'd be like, oh yeah, she looks like a criminal, and the one on the right looks like a happy.
but it's the same girl.
It is the same
How
girl.
can it look one look like a criminal and the other look like
She's
a
got a different look, man. She's not smiling in this one. She's giving
no?
that duck
And
face
she's
kind of
giving
look.
it's not duck face, but she's looking straight into the camera. You know, it's almost like in a daring. It's in a daring
Yeah.
look.
So what the hell happened here?
Yeah, I'm suddenly less interested if it's just
If it's just in
man on
Iceland.
man. No, no, if it's just man on woman crime, it's just kind of more normal, I guess. Well, it
Really?
is. Men commit more crimes than women, right? At least
Yeah.
more violent crimes.
But you
So,
you would be interested if it was a girl that killed her,
well,
but you don't care if it
I'd
was a
be
man.
interested in the reasons
Oh,
because I mean, for a woman to kill another woman in a violent crime,
yeah.
I mean, some shit needs to.
Be some jealousy.
Yeah, like exactly. It could be something, but I was at least more curious because it's also not going to be like a fist fight, you know? It's very unlikely that the woman's going to kill another woman just with her fists. It could happen, sure, but it's
Extreme hair pulling.
just pull their brain out of her head.
Oh, God. All right, so that's a little morbid. Should we just continue right on down the morbid stuff and then at
I don't
least
even
get
know
it
if
all out
there's
of the
any
way?
more anything morbid more. I
I-
guess I just wanted to get it all over with.
Is there not any more morbid stuff so we can be happy? I'm looking. Ooh, fewer foreign beggars on Copenhagen streets. Oh, there's a positive ray of sunshine right there.
Depends. It depends where they went.
And depends on who you are. I guess if you're them, it's not positive. You are less likely to run into her on the streets of Copenhagen these days. And it shows a picture of what I can only assume is like a gypsy type
Woman, yeah.
character. Yeah.
Character.
Tougher laws came into force on July 21st, imposing stricter punishments for begging. We talked about that when
I
that
think we
happened.
talked about it a few times, yeah.
Yeah, well, we talked about it when the article came out. The new law can lead to sentences of 14 days imprisonment.
So it's working.
Well, it says there's fewer foreign beggars, but the Danish beggars are more mobile and can easily evade the police. So, I mean, I guess there are less of Inge Støjberg's undesirables out there begging.
Why do you think they're more mobile? Do you think it's because they don't have to push baby carriages full of crap?
Could be.
Dude, I see this shit every day, you know?
Yeah, I know. I know. I really don't know, man. I mean, I would say it's because they're lazy.
And why
I mean, they just
when they
sit
say
around on the
there's
street.
fewer, what does that mean? Does that mean that they left the country? Does that mean they're arrested? They just stopped begging? Or there's actually no
There's
information
not
about
really
that.
much, yeah, proof or any real statistics in this article. It literally just says that the police have been more obviously present on the streets during the summer, and that has led to a drastic fall in the number of vulnerable foreign nationals begging on the streets of Copenhagen. But like, what numbers? Like, are they going around and making notes about how many people are begging at a certain time, or
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe just like you have these
because I
people.
mean, I haven't really seen anything less.
Yeah, but you don't.
Actually, I say that
Hmm.
if I think about it, when I go to Norbro to go to Danish school, for like 6 months, there was always this like gypsy old lady that was sitting on the curb in the same spot every time. And as you walk back, just kind of like, "Hi, do you have some money?" And she hasn't been there in like a month or two at least.
Okay,
So maybe it really is.
it could be an effect of this.
Maybe they threw her in jail.
You know, that reminds me. There used to. I mean, of course, I live on Istigal, so I see a lot of I see a lot of homeless people.
Yeah.
And I used to see a guy, like some big guy who I heard him speak Spanish before. So I don't know if he kind of, for some reason, I thought he was Cuban, but I don't know why I thought he was Cuban as opposed to any other Spanish speaking country. But he used to be like, I used to see him nearly every day. And then at some point I noticed that I hadn't seen him in a while. And
Yeah.
I actually started like, what the fuck happened to him? Did he die? He might have died. And that, I
Way to bring it back to a sad tale.
yeah, I guess. No, but it's like I really felt a bit sad for not seeing him anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like he was my friend, even though I never really
Said anything to him,
talked
right?
to him.
Did you ever give him any money?
No, I actually, I think one of the reasons why I liked him was because he didn't ask for money.
Oh.
Because I mean, I see a lot of beggars, and a small percentage of them actually ask you for money, and then it's always the same ones. So then you actually start being like, "Oh, geez, don't know me again," or you try to evade them. You know,
Yeah,
I feel bad for doing this. I really do. But when I have people asking for money like twice a day, I can't just keep giving them money all the time.
yeah. I was walking to work the other day, and there's a guy that takes mobile pay now. He
Well, that's smart
he
because
was,
you can't really say I don't have any coins anymore. You
yeah.
know, just mobile pay me like 5 krona or
Yeah,
10.
no, he's just standing there in front of the Netto
Hmm.
on Fieldstroll, and he's holding a cardboard sign, just said
Yeah,
mobile pay, and then it had a number there. Uh,
that's kind of cool.
I mean, I guess, yeah, it's probably
So, do you think he needs to have a? Do you think he has a smartphone?
surely he does.
Why? You can probably create a mobile pay account without having a smartphone, as long as you have a bank account, right?
Probably. I mean, you don't think like I mean, maybe not every homeless person has a fucking phone, but surely, I
No,
mean, a
but the
lot of them
smartphone.
do.
I mean,
How do you even exist without a phone in this day and age?
yeah, but a smartphone for. Okay, I guess you can get some cheap Android smartphones.
Yeah, shit, even the cheapest Android phones, I mean, they can't be that much. I bet you can get an Android phone for like 50 euros or something. Like just a shitty used one.
Okay.
And maybe you can even use mobile pay without a smartphone, like some text-based deal
Mm-hmm.
where you like text a certain mobile pay address that you want to pay this other address,
Yeah.
and it's like type 1 to confirm or, something like that.
Man, there's this. The other day, I was actually me and some friends. We met up after just for some quick dinner, you know, and just to hang out after dinner, to get a coffee,
Yeah.
and we were on Sunder Boulevard, and we just decided, hey, it's not very windy. Let's play some table tennis because there's a table tennis table on Sunder Boulevard. So at 10 in the evening, we're just playing there, you know,
Yeah.
which was a lot of fun. I'd never played table tennis before. I literally never played ping pong, table tennis, whatever you call it, before in my life, and I loved it. I thought it was so much fun.
But it was like outdoors, right?
Yes,
And it was
which
like
was a bit annoying because sometimes there was some gush of wind, and it was also at night, so you couldn't see the ball very well. And then
yeah.
sometimes there was a car passing, which would blind you with the lights. But still, I just put that as some kind of handicap, you know?
It's like an extra challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
My old
But
job, we had a table. I played table tennis a lot when I was younger. Like when I was growing up, I remember my cousin had a table tennis thing out under their carport,
mhm.
and we would play a lot. And then I remember the last job I had, we had like a professional table there. And for 3 or 4 years, like on my lunch breaks and stuff like that, I would just play table tennis for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes every day.
I heard you're pretty good because you guys actually played. The two people I was playing
Yeah.
with, they played against you before, and I think you were the best one of the three. I think it's fair to say that.
Yeah, when we played at that little retreat thing that we
Hmm.
did, I think I played maybe 7 or 8 people, and I was pretty much undefeated. Other than I lost a few times to our good friend Shaban.
Okay.
But that like I know that the thing is I'm a better player than him. For me, with him, it's like a psychological thing. Even if I'm better at the game, like I'll end up losing to him because he gets in my head.
Yeah, he's
But
good at that. But
yeah,
it's also easy to get in his head though.
yeah, but he particularly can get under your skin for
Yeah,
sure.
you two have some kind of affinity that
Some
it's
rivalry.
almost I wouldn't call it rivalry. It's almost like a brother sibling relationship right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I played it for the first time,
It's a fun
and
game.
it was so much fun. I really loved it. I I want to play more. You know.
You should, man. Once you get like a little more advanced too, like once you have a
Hmm.
really reliable serve, then you can start working on like getting really good at applying different types of spin to the
Yeah.
ball. Because I remember after we played 3 or 4 years at the old job, there was an Indian guy there that played that was super good, and we started playing at the point where every time that one of us struck the ball, we would be applying so much spin, either top or backspin or left or right, that if the other player didn't actively counter the spin when they struck it and reverse the type of spin, the ball would go off the table or into the net.
Yeah.
You know, like we were intentionally spinning it so much to force the other player to like
To respin it.
to
Yeah.
screw up, or yeah, if they didn't respin it, they would have to just concede that point. So
That sounds pretty fucking tricky.
I mean, it comes with practice and time, and I mean, yeah, once you start to understand like how to apply the different types of spin and when and what situations you should do it, it becomes pretty obvious. But yeah, that game's a lot of fun, man. I think that besides billiards, probably table tennis is one of the most fun kind of like I don't know, parlor games is the right, but just shit you play with your friends is like a little competitive thing.
You like it better than football?
I think so, yeah, personally.
Is it just because you're better at it than at football?
No, not really. I don't really like either of the types of foosball tables that we have here available to us. The my favorite style is the tornado one, but
I'm not
I've never
sure.
seen one here.
I'm not sure what the differences are.
It's I don't know. The players are a little more blocky. They have seem to have a little more weight to them. It's kind of the similar style to one we have where it's more fast paced,
Hmm.
but I feel like it offers you more control. It's like a bit of a blend between the Bonzini style table,
Hmm.
but it doesn't have the soft cork ball. It has the harder one that I know you don't like as much. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say that out of all the three, foosball is probably my least favorite of those. Although I still enjoy it. It doesn't help that I'm not very good at it. So
Yeah. So when we were playing the table tennis, I guess that's why I came up with the story in the first place. There was a homeless guy who passed by us, and he's just he's like a classic one, so to say. He's one I see all the fucking time, and I actually find him really funny because he just comes to you. He's polite in terms of the words that he says, but it just comes to you and is like, "Hey guys, do you have some money that you can spare for me?" You know, just like he's really aggressive with his tone of voice. But then he's polite, you know. He says please, and he says all that stuff. Um, and it has happened more. He's also very aggressive in terms of like I've done at least twice that I said no, I don't have anything, and I clap my pocket, you know. But it's just an instinctive thing, like no, I don't have any coins, and I clap the pocket with my keys.
yeah,
So he hears the rattling of the keys,
yeah,
and he's just like, "Oh, that's coins! That's coins! Come on, give me some coins!" I mean, I love the guy, I really do. But he
yeah.
gets a bit. I guess I love him because he's just so much of a character.
Well, there's no
But he
shame in his
sounds
game.
really aggressive, you know.
There's no shame there, Dolph. You know, I mean, the squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, maybe that's a strategy that works better for him, or maybe that's just his personality, and
Yeah,
he's not planning it.
can't really be meek about it. Can I? Excuse me.
No,
Can I have a little
there's
money?
another one that is a bit like that, and
It's like, come on, dude, try harder.
yeah, it actually makes me feel a bit bad because it almost sounds like he's literally dying,
He's just giving up. It's like, I guess I'd take some money if you had it.
and then he walks behind me and he's like, "Hey sir, hey sir, hey sir, hey sir." Like, come on, don't make me feel bad.
Step it up a notch.
Don't make me cry here in
Be
front
like,
of you.
hey, bro, I need a beer. You got some money? I like the ones that are really honest about that shit. I remember in the States, you see a lot of people
Yeah.
begging under the underpass and stuff, like when you pull up to the stoplight
Mm-hmm.
and they'll just have the cardboard sign with
Money
whatever.
for beer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just some dude's like, not gonna lie, I just want a fucking beer, It's
Yeah.
all right, dude. Makes
There,
sense.
there, there was another. Yeah, there was another one who I felt it was so. I always hated it. He always asked for 2 krona.
2?
Yeah, 2 or 3. I don't know, but he always asks. I do 3 krona. 3 krona. He always asks for 3 krona.
It's like the weirdest denomination of crime because then you gotta have either
Yeah, I think it's either like a 2 and a 1 or 3 ones.
or like then you need the 50 plus a 2. Like,
Yeah.
who asked for 3 crowns,
I don't
dude?
know, but one of the it actually annoyed me the fact that he only asked for 3 krona. I can't explain why, and
Yeah.
I felt like I never did this because I guess I'm not as cruel as I sometimes wish I could be. But I almost wish to just take a pocket full of coins, just full of 20s and 10s and 5s and all that, and literally just pick a
Count
5.
through
No, no,
them.
no, pick a 5 and be like, oh, I only have 5. Hold on, let's go to the kiosk over here. Then I change the 5 for like 2s and 1s, and then I give him the 3. I almost felt like doing. I felt like doing this before.
Damn, you're a fucking
I know.
savage.
I'm a bit. I can be a bit cruel. I
oh,
never did it. I guess I'm more cruel in my head
I mean,
than actually in my actions.
I thought you were legit gonna say that you were gonna pull out a thing of coins and start counting through them and be like, "Oh, sorry, man. Looks like all I got is 5s and up," and then just leave.
No,
Like
that would
just
be
pull it out
similar as well, I guess.
or just pull out a few coins and then just throw them on the ground.
Oh no, okay, no. That's
Well,
that I wouldn't do. That's not just cruel. That's very demeaning.
It's
I guess.
disrespectful, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
I don't think it's disrespectful to take a 5 and change it into 3 because it's literally what he asked for, and give him the 3 and keep the
Oh,
2.
God, man, just give him the 5.
That's not the point for it. It's just for him to stop saying that.
Maybe the reason there's less foreign beggars on the streets is because people like you.
Hey, I never did this. It's just in my mind, It's like
Yeah.
those intrusive thoughts of you just driving on the road and then, oh, I wonder what would happen. Just swerve to the left and hit this car coming full front, I mean, it's just those thoughts, but you don't do it because you're not crazy.
Yeah.
Since we're on homeless people's stories, I guess I have one more. There's this one guy
Yeah.
who I'd see all the fucking time as well, and he always asked for some money. And then one day I saw him, maybe like 10, 15 meters ahead of me. So I was coming from the gym, so I was in Copenhagen. So it's like there's just a lot of space.
Yeah.
And I see him like 10, 15 meters in front of me, and he kind of waves at me, or he just makes a sign like that he wants to ask me something, And before I even hear him, I just say, "Hey, dude, I have no money." I
Okay.
just say it, before I even hear. And then he just looks at me like with his eyes wide open, it's like, "That's not what I was asking for. That's not what I was asking for." And I was like, "Dude," I didn't say it. I just thought, "Dude, come on. I've seen you like at least 50 times before. Every single time you ask me for money,
Yeah.
and now all of a sudden you just wanted to ask me for the time or directions."
Right. Likely story.
So yeah, I like the ones that are more upfront about it. But again, the problem when I see them all the fucking time is I can't give them money all the time.
Yeah, you can't pay for everybody. It's hard enough just taking care of yourself.
Usually when I go to the supermarket, there's sometimes those who's for B guys
Yeah.
in front, And sometimes if I have some coins like change from the supermarket, I just give it to them. But yeah, I mean it's no fortune, It's just whatever
That's for sure.
change I have.
Well, I don't know. I guess it's good. They're getting some more homeless people off the streets. I mean, it doesn't really say where they're going, right? Are they actually getting them off the streets and into better conditions? Are they getting jobs? Are they just leaving Denmark entirely? Are they sitting in jail? Not really sure.
Yeah.
But, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, it's a little bit like that, yeah.
So I don't know. It's not nearly as bad, in my opinion, as it is in Houston. Man, in Houston, you got a lot of people begging.
You do?
Yeah. Yeah, quite. Like they'll come up to you at the gas station too. As soon as you like getting out of your car, there's a guy walking over to you, and you just like already. You just need to cut him off at the pass and be like, "Look, dude, I don't have anything. Sorry."
Mhm.
Like right away. You can't let him start because they always start on those field. Oh, hey man, I got my car's out of gas over here, and I just need
Mhm.
like a little something to get me going, and if you could just got like $5, you're like you can't even let them get that start
Yeah, yeah, because they're
because
just talking.
once they
Yeah.
do, then it's like it becomes really difficult. Then you got to listen to that sob ass story that they've kind of fucking got going. And I feel bad because some of them probably really do have some legit reason, but there's so many people that spoil it for the rest
Hmm.
by just telling you some fake bullshit story, and then yeah, you watch them go get into their Mercedes later that day or whatever. But they make a lot of money there. Makes a
They do.
ridiculous amount of money. Yeah, there was a story about this girl in Houston. She would get into some dingy ass clothes, but she would drive her Mercedes over to like a certain area, pop out of it, and walk down the block like 3 or 4 blocks, beg all day for like 6, 7 hours, and then go back and get in her Mercedes. And there's like some video of some people that followed her back and was like, "What the hell? Like you got a nicer car than me."
Yeah.
She's like, "Well, yeah, I make money every day doing this. It makes like a full time living, probably better than a normal full time job."
Dude, last year when I was in Rome, I think as soon as I got out of the train station, I was waiting. I was there with a friend, and she went to take a piss. So I was just waiting outside, pretty much like a tourist, Like I just came from the airport. I have my luggage, and I'm
Yeah,
just waiting in
you're
front of the door.
you're like the
So
easiest target
yeah,
in the
I'm like
world.
fucking prey right there. So in less than 2 minutes, there's this guy coming to me,
Yeah.
and he doesn't even look that bad, He looks it's just like black t-shirt and shaved head, So he looks almost like some kind of meathead, you know. So he doesn't look like a
Meathead?
yeah, like a bodybuilder almost.
Oh, okay.
Like, but he doesn't look like a homeless person like the ones that you see here on Instagram. He just looks like yeah, some guy who
He doesn't look really disheveled and, like,
no,
nasty.
no.
He just looks like a normal dude.
And he's Italian, so I guess that he has a bit of that Italian charm, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So he just comes to me and he starts. I don't know if he asks me for a light or something, and he starts talking to me, and he just starts talking and doesn't even let me. He just
Get a
talks
word in.
without. It's like he has all of this very well rehearsed, and he's talking, and then he asks me some questions here and there, I guess, to make me feel like I'm actually interacting with a person as opposed to someone just trying to hustle me. But as soon as I answer, it's like one word answers, and he gets back into it. It was actually quite beautiful to watch. And then at some point, he just takes out like a bunch of lighters. So I guess he was not asking for a light. He takes out a bunch of lighters, and he's like, "Hey, can you buy one of these? Like I'm an ex-drug addict, whatever." But he says it in it. He's so charming that I almost I, it's like I gave him some whatever small €1 or whatever the fuck it was. I gave him the money because I was just so almost in a trance. Like, oh yeah, here you go. And then 1 or 2 minutes later, when he's gone, I'm like thinking like, holy shit,
You just got played.
I got yeah, probably I got played, but regardless, it was like
You felt
I'm
good
I'm
about
not
it.
even I'm not even mad.
Yeah.
It's like wow, that was skillful. Like that was
Smooth.
absolutely smooth and skillful. I was in awe of the guy, basically.
Yeah. I don't know if I could ever do it. I guess if I did, I guess anybody could do it if they really needed to. You just have to work your hustle.
Yeah.
You got to get your story together and be like, "Hey, man, I've fallen on hard times recently." And you
No,
say,
but yeah, he wasn't with that like sad voice, like "Oh, please have pity of me." He was really
like, optimistic.
yeah. And then it's like, and then of course he got into. I think he said he had been in jail and he's a recovering addict, but he's not. He's clean for. Of course, he's clean now for
Yeah, of course.
blank number
Yeah,
of.
yeah,
But then he even makes it more believable because he was like, "Yeah, I'm clean of all these hard drugs now. I only do weed." I think he said something like that.
yeah.
Which just makes it. And he looked at me. I guess he must have thought like, "Yeah, you look like someone who likes weed. So if I say that I smoke weed, I don't.
I'll
You're
get
not
back.
gonna get a negative reaction from it." I don't know.
Yeah,
But the thing is, he took my €1 or whatever the fuck it was,
got him.
and I ain't even mad.
I'm not either.
It's like going to a play, watching a play. A one man play.
Yeah. Speaking of plays, Dolph.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't a play. This is a concert experience. But there is a Game of Thrones live concert. When is the date? The tickets went on sale yesterday. 350 to 660 crowns. And you can listen to some Westeros style music. June 1st, the creator of the series Immortal theme music is performing at the Royal Arena. Wow, that's pretty cool, man.
But it's Game of Thrones music or
Yeah.
Game of Thrones inspired music?
It says, oh, this guy created the theme music for Game of Thrones as well as the score for the opening credits of Westworld. Have you
Okay.
seen Westworld yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh my god, man!
Do we go every week on stuff that I should watch or what?
Really, honestly, I mean, talk to Shaban, talk to anybody. You really should watch Westworld. It's only one season. It really is
Dude,
only one season.
I'm gonna make a fucking compilation of all the times you say you really should watch blank.
Oh man, fine. Don't watch it if you don't want to. That's one of the best shows I've ever seen. I think Westworld is actually better than Game of Thrones.
Okay. Isn't that the one that's also from a movie from the 80s or 70s
Yeah,
or something
yeah.
like
I
that?
think, and I want to say that was based on a book. I'm not sure, but it's a
Like some sci-fi western kind of thing?
yes,
Okay.
yes. It
I
is.
like the sound of it.
It's so cool. At first, I didn't. The thing is, at first, you're not going to understand everything, and that's okay.
Mhm.
Once
So,
you
so sorry, you don't need to watch the TV show,
the original
the movie,
thing. No,
the original thing.
no,
Okay.
no, not at all. You can just jump right into the series.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I did. I still haven't seen the original, and I felt like I still came away with something good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I guess they're gonna perform the Game of Thrones music here, different stuff. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, are there any tickets left? I mean, I don't want to go, but
But I don't understand this. It says on June 1st. I mean, what is that, next year? You know what I mean?
maybe this is an old art. No, it's not.
No, it's not an old article. Let's look at Ticketmaster. I'm gonna go ahead and take it. Okay, Game of
Yeah,
Thrones
maybe
live
it's, maybe
concert.
it's for next year.
It
Yeah,
is.
June
It's
1,
for June
2018.
1st, 2018. So
Wow.
you can already buy tickets to go see the Game of Thrones live
Wow.
concert experience. You can buy a Dragonstone package, a King's Landing package, a Winterfell package, or a Platinum package.
Why platinum? That sounds so stupid. Why don't they just put some Valyrian steel package
Yeah,
or something
Valyrian
like
package.
that?
There you go. Dragon Glass package.
I mean, if they're going to put the names on stuff based on the show, they might as well just not put platinum.
If you could identify with a group of people in Game of Thrones, what would it
Mhm.
be? Would you be like a
Um,
Dothraki?
Give me some choices.
Dothraki, Westeros commoner.
No, I don't want to identify with the commoner. Come on, for it. Even if I would.
What about like? I mean, where do you think you would be from? Would you be from like Winterfell or King's Landing? You seem like the kind of King's Landing guy to me because you like all that noisy, busy city shit.
Yeah, I have a feeling that I would. Yeah, if you put it in those terms, I probably would be in the capital where shit's happening. Yeah,
You'd be like a busker in the capital.
maybe a busker or one of those what do you call them, jesters?
Yeah, the court jester.
Yeah, or something like that. I maybe. What about you? Of course, I'd like to think of myself as a strong and fierce knight, you know,
A warrior. Yeah, I don't know.
If I have to be honest, I'm sure I'd be more of a jester than of a knight.
I don't know where I would be from. I just figured I'd ask you because it was really hard to answer, and then I wouldn't have to answer myself.
Well, you don't
but,
have to answer if you don't want to. For it.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe a maester. How about
Oh,
that?
you think so?
A man of the book, a man of the cloth.
One of the wise men.
Yeah, I could see myself doing more of that than fighting with a sword and shield. Huh.
Yeah, I guess you need to give me a bit more time to think about it.
All right.
But yeah, I don't think I have much of a knight in me. No.
No. Well, here's something.
What's
Bubble trouble. Dolph, the housing
bubble
market.
trouble?
The housing market across Denmark faces a dramatic change next week. Real estate economists expect drastic impact as authorities crack whip on bank loans. They're cracking that whip, Dolph.
So what are they doing? Oh, bank loans. So
They're
yeah, go on.
changing the way. Let's see. So the housing prices in Denmark have basically skyrocketed to like housing bubble levels again. And from this Monday morning, I guess the next Monday, homeowners in Copenhagen and Aarhus areas will wake up to a whole new housing market reality as the business ministry moves to try to avoid a repeat of the bubble burst. Um, they are taking some steps to restrict banks and credit institutions from offering the type of housing loans that don't have fixed interest rates and monthly installments. So I guess these more risky interest rate and repayment free mortgages can only constitute 15% of the mortgage lending portfolio of the banks. So, yeah, I mean, I guess they're just going to try to reduce the overall amount of credit available to people for buying houses and speculating in the market, which technically should reduce the prices because less people will be able to purchase things that are technically maybe already a little too high to begin with. Um, Near the bottom of this article, they said that also some people are afraid that they'll see the opposite of a bubble and just see a downward trajectory that'll completely deflate the housing market.
I can't say in a very selfish way. I can't say that I'd be sad about that.
I wouldn't
I like
either.
everything to be a bit cheaper, but
Yeah,
that's because I don't own shit.
the housing here is so expensive. It's
It
ridiculous.
is.
I mean, I get it. It's a desirable place to live, and I mean, it's maybe not San Francisco levels of housing price, but it's getting there. I mean, it's getting to the point where it feels like you need a full-time job basically to be able to afford any kind of place that's not just like a room.
Yeah,
Like if you want your own apartment in the city or anything
or
like
even
that.
close to the
Yeah,
city.
that's what I mean. Even
Yeah.
like the greater area, man, you got to at least probably pay 7, 8, 9, 10,000 crowns a month minimum, like depending on the level of
Yeah, if you
the
want just one
housing.
for yourself, yeah,
It's
it
a lot of money.
it is it's quite expensive. Yeah, but this is about buying, right? This because it's bank loans that the banks
Sure,
will
but I
not.
mean the people that rent the rooms, I mean they have to buy them too. So this will probably hit anybody that's involved in real estate here in the city.
And
At least going forward. So
so,
I don't know,
what's
maybe
the consequences of this? Just the home prices are going to
well, you never know. I mean,
get lower.
technically, I mean, I guess they should, right? I mean, that's the plan is to keep the prices a little bit in check and not have them just go so high. I mean, they already are.
Hmm.
So I hope the prices go down because we want to buy something soon.
Yeah.
Could be good timing for us.
Well, we talked last week about the whole thing in Amafel that they wanted to build
Oh, the
some.
development there, and
Yeah,
then
they
they're going to
wanted to
change that
build
around.
some residential places, and yeah, you can't really win, right?
No, I
You
mean,
can't have your cake and eat it too.
you need a
Isn't
place to live, but then you don't want to let them build in the park. I mean, I get it. It's a hard problem when you just don't have enough room. I firmly believe that island idea is probably the best
hmm
compromise because they're going to have to build the tunnel there to help alleviate traffic problems.
Yeah.
And if you're going to dig all that shit out of the harbor, then you might as well make an island while you're at it.
You know, I don't understand. I'm not an urban development guy, obviously, but I don't understand why it seems so difficult to make suburban areas, so areas that are not super close to the city.
Hmm.
So let's speak like Sulhaven, for example, or Valby,
Yeah.
because they're still close, but they're not super close. Why why is it not easier to make like residential areas more attractive to people? As in, don't just make them residential, but actually have some
Community there.
some live like the thing
Some
that makes
shops, some
Vestavro
cafes,
trendy, for
whatever.
example, is all these cafes and all these shops, you know? So why does it seem so difficult to make that? I know that these things are not necessarily planned; they kind of emerge. But why doesn't it happen in these more residential and suburban areas? Is it because there's fewer people passing by? Probably it is, but maybe there would be more people passing by if there were these places. You know?
Yeah. Well, it's a bit of a hard problem because you have to, like, a private company has to come and basically start that cafe, right?
Well,
And you're,
or maybe just some person who wants to have their own business.
yeah, but I mean, when they're doing the planning and stuff like that, they can zone off areas for like commercial space, but that doesn't mean that there's gonna be a cafe right when the neighborhood opens up. Like, there's gonna have to
Mhm.
be enough people moved in first to where the person thinks it's realistic to open a cafe,
Yeah.
and then, like, there's some stuff out here, like little restaurants and not really cafes, but there's one right up there near the Dune Netto, and I see, like, a few people in there every now and then, but, I mean, I'd imagine they maybe get 5, 10 customers a day that walk in there. Not
Mhm.
that many, and I think they deliver on Just Eat, so they probably deliver more food than they sell to people directly. But, I mean, it's a bit of a chicken and the egg problem. You want people to come to a place, and so you need some liveliness and some shops and some cafes and stuff for people to feel like there's a liveliness. But without that, you know what I mean? Like you need the people there to be able to start that business and make it profitable.
Mhm.
But without the business already being there, people don't want to come.
Yeah.
So
Well, there could be some. Again, I'm just throwing ideas in there. I don't know shit about this, but maybe some incentives for the first two,
sure,
3 years for the
sure,
people opening that stuff. The subsidize. I don't know,
absolutely,
half of the price. I don't know, whatever makes sense.
absolutely. I mean, there's all kind of options. But then maybe after 2 or 3 years, those guys just get out of the game and say, "Screw it, this isn't profitable if we're not getting the subsidy."
Sure, it could be. It could be.
Yeah,
I'm just curious of why it is that more suburban areas, and I'm not talking about suburban like American suburbs where you basically have houses sprawled out
hmm,
and you basically have to drive to get anywhere. I'm talking more about like the residential suburbs here, so something more like Valby and I don't know, Ponsoy and stuff like that, which feel a lot more
chill and relaxed. But
well boring,
yeah, well, that too. But I mean, I don't
like
know,
less
man.
lively. I guess that's the thing.
I don't know. I do not know. Not everything can be Istigal. It's all
Well, it doesn't need to be Stegel. I mean, there's lively places everywhere. But okay, let's look at Österpol. Österpol is quite. It feels quite boring to me as well, And there's a lot more. There's a lot less. Like if unless you're on Österpolgel
yeah.
or on Bopaplas, there's not really much going on anywhere there. Oh, and there's another street that goes from Triangle to um,
But I mean, for
not
6 months
Norrhavn.
out of the year, the weather's a pile of shit. Nobody wants to get outside and do anything
Well, that
anyway.
doesn't stop for people from going out. It
Hmm.
just makes them maybe stops them a bit more from staying out. But
Yeah.
I mean, if you go to a cafe, you're going to be inside. People still go to bars even though it's winter
I don't
and to
know the answer.
nightclubs.
But I know what you mean. It does feel on the outskirts very boring. Like just sterile and boring and like there's nothing going on.
And
And
m- and
in
m-
the city it does feel really lively and everything. So
yeah, I don't know what it is.
I like a balance between the two. Like a little bit of liveliness, but not so much that it's just over the top. Like I hate going to Norbro now. Just
Oh,
feels
you
so
do?
yeah, it just feels trashy as fuck up there. The thing I really dislike the most about it, it's you know how they have all those supermarkets that are like, I don't know, some Arabic market or whatever
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
out. Those guys always put all their produce like all the way out in the fucking sidewalk
Hmm.
so that if anybody is standing there looking at anything, you can't even walk on the sidewalk. You basically have to walk in the bike lane.
Yeah.
And it's so irritating like just trying to walk by all that. I don't even understand how they allow like the sidewalk is the city space, you know? And I mean, I guess if you have a building there, you should be allowed to use some portion of it. But when you start preventing people from going on the sidewalk,
Hmm.
I think it's a little too much.
Yeah, there's probably some kind of law
Yeah,
that
but
that
nobody.
allows them to do that.
Yeah, I'm sure there is because they're on both sides of the street. I just all that stuff, like all those shops down there and all that shit. It just seems a little bit depressing to me. Really, it's just when I walk by there, I'm like, holy fuck,
So,
man.
what would you prefer to be there instead?
Um,
A fauna?
I don't know what I'd prefer to be there. Just
Fauna
not
is a bit more sounds a bit more boring than that.
maybe like a regular Netto or something.
Okay, let's kill the mom and pop stores. Let's just have franchises. I get it. It's the American way.
Exactly.
Maybe a Starbucks.
Capitalism.
Starbucks, McDonald's right next to it,
Yeah, exactly.
or just another gasoline grill
I,
because you're not much of a
I don't know
McDonald's
what
guy.
to do to solve that problem up there, but I wouldn't want to live up there. It's loud. It smells bad. Like there's so much diesel fumes and shit when I walk down that street.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that it's not. Well, also, you're talking about North Kogel,
Yeah,
right? I
yeah.
mean, there's a lot of other side streets and other streets in Northwood that you could live on that you
Yeah.
don't have to be affected by, I don't know, rotten tomatoes on your face.
Rotten tomatoes on
That's
my
just the
face,
first
huh?
thing that came to my mind.
Is that really the first thing? Does my face look like it could hold a rotten tomato or two?
No, I mean rotten tomatoes on the stand on the street
Oh,
that you're passing by, and I say by your face because they're at eye level.
I should try that. There's a kebab place there that's always fucking packed.
Which one?
It's got a blue sign. I don't know what it's called though.
Okay.
Dude, it's packed there. It's really packed as you walk from where
Mm.
the bus drops you off. You know they have that like there used to be an area where basically gypsies just stood with like 20-year-old electronics trying to sell them in that little corner and feeding pigeons. Do you know the corner I'm talking about?
No, no, I don't know exactly.
Okay,
Is it
now
close
they
to the station or
yeah,
Northpole
yeah, yeah.
Station?
It's like if you're talking about the Esto station,
Hmm.
you know there's the 7-Eleven on that corner. Take the opposite corner from there, like diagonally across from where the 7-Eleven is.
Okay.
And that area used to be like a larger green space. Now they have like a world market or like some I don't know, a bunch of food trucks over there, right? And it's like taste a bite of the world or something
Okay,
like
I
that.
haven't been there in a
Well,
while.
that whole area used to be where I guess homeless people and gypsies and all this other stuff sat and they just had all this trashy like a cell phone from like 20 years ago and like some old piece of a boom box, you know, just like garbage
Hmm.
basically for sale. And they fed the pigeons all the time. So every time you go by there, there's like a fucking flock of pigeons
Yeah.
and it's fucking nasty, man. I don't know. They've tried to change that area a little bit. It just feels so trashy out there. I can't do it.
Have
Can't
you
do it.
ever actually went and look at what they have? Maybe you can find some old synthesizer like that. Nobody really knows the value of it. It's a very wishful thinking. I
I
know some
would
old
say
analog.
I would say that that's a pretty low probability, but yeah,
I don't know. One man can dream for it.
I gotta stay away from buying too much analog gear. I had thought about it, but boy, it gets dangerous in a hurry when you look at the price of those modules.
Oh, if it's yeah, if
If
it's
it's Euro
the
rack,
really old stuff. Oh no, yeah, okay. So you're getting into modular.
well, any of the old analog synthesizer or even the newer modular, it just doesn't even matter. Whatever it is, it's expensive.
Modular is pretty fucking expensive. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was actually wondering the other day why it wasn't. I just googled
yeah.
like Google, please explain to me why are modular synths so expensive?
Hmm.
And I guess it's just a niche market. You know, it's too niche, so you don't get.
The benefits of mass production and
Yeah,
scaling.
yeah. And then it's usually hand built stuff. So it's people just assembling that themselves. I mean, they get the chips or the circuits and all that probably factory made, but then they solder them themselves and things like that.
Right,
So there's a lot of, and they need to design them as well. It's usually small shops with maybe two, three, four people
right.
making this.
Well, the other thing about it too is that, I mean, as computers and electronics have moved along, pretty much everything is on an integrated circuit now and just different chips. Whereas all this analog stuff is actually not necessarily like chip based or integrated circuit necessarily.
Yeah,
It's more like old school transformers and
yeah. You have the circuits, but there's nothing really digital in there, or at least the sound production or
right.
sound manipulating stuff.
So
It's
probably
not
from that
digital.
perspective, those actual raw components that you put it together with are probably more expensive too.
Yeah, that well,
Because there's
that
so
as
many
well.
production of digital chips and all that analog stuff is probably
And you need to pay people for designing them, and since it doesn't sell so much, if they want to make a living, they need to price them accordingly.
charge a little premium. You could also just build them yourself.
You can, but you kind of need to learn quite a bit.
The other thing is just you can do so much stuff on a computer now. I mean, I get that always an analog modeled thing on a computer will always be an approximation of what it could be because it depends on what sample rate you're kind of simulating it at, you
Hmm.
know? But honestly, you can pretty much make all the same shit on the computer now.
It's not the same for it.
I know it's not
It's
exactly
like
the
playing
same.
table tennis or playing some computer table tennis game.
I get it. I get it.
It's not the
But
same.
so are you considering some modular stuff?
Oh, I've been considering some modular since I first heard Caitlin Aurelia Smith album. Yeah, which on a related note, she has a new album now. Caitlin Aurelia Smith. She has a new album coming out in October. I don't know exactly when, but you can already stream it on NPR.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Does she have a piece on NPR? Like, did they do an interview and all that, or
No, I think it's just maybe there's an interview like article,
okay?
but
Oh, that's pretty cool. I'll have to check
yeah,
that out.
it's
Her
called
other album is good.
yeah. And this one I was listening to it on the way here. I listened for I don't know 30 minutes of it, and I was really liking it. It's in the same style as the other one, but different enough that it doesn't feel that it's just
The
more of the
same.
same.
Yeah.
It's just in the same style, same kind of sounds, but different enough. It's called The Kid.
Okay. And the first album was called Ears, right?
That's the second album actually.
Oh,
I think the first one was called Euclid. Euclid.
okay. The one I've listened to that I like the
Ears
most is
was the second
Ears.
one, and it was the one that got really a lot of praise and critical acclaim. And this one, I guess now there's a bit of hype. I mean, within the
Synth community.
yeah, within the niche groups that know that she exists and that like modular music and stuff like that. But it seems pretty good at half first listen.
Okay. Well, I'll have to check it out. Maybe get some ideas for some of my own stuff. I like listening to all kind of different music and trying to take some inspiration when I'm working on the tracks, you know?
Mm-hmm. You've been making
Yeah, some drum and bass tracks lately.
some tracks lately, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And I like the way they're progressing for it. Like I can actually see. I mean, you have done a few so far, but I can actually see some. I don't know if improvement is the right word, but
Progress.
progress of yeah. In some way, it's hard to describe exactly what the progress is, but I feel that it's not like oh all three tracks are the same, just slightly different. There is actually
Like a different feeling and a progression and all that.
yeah like
Yeah, I try to because I mean, once you make a track, you've already heard it so many times by the time you're done with it that you're almost sick of it. So then when you start a new project, you kind of have this old one still playing in your head because you've heard it so many times that when you start the new one, you have to really like distance yourself from that one. And if you start making stuff that sounds like the old track, you got to like get that out of your head right away and be like, okay,
Mhm.
I need a new direction because otherwise you just make the same track again with different patches. But yeah, I've been having fun, and you're gonna take the challenge that I gave you,
Yeah,
right?
you gave me a challenge. Let's see what I do with it.
You're gonna
Yeah.
make one track every month, and that's if you make a full track, then you can buy a module.
Yeah, it was actually yeah, I was telling myself one a month is too little. But yeah, I just wanted an excuse to buy some Eurorack modules.
Right. Well, to begin with, I mean, I think if you can challenge yourself to make one polished, really nice, like finished track that you're kind of happy with. I
Mhm.
mean, when you start out making music, like electronic music and all that stuff, anyway, your stuff's gonna suck. It
Yeah.
just is what it is. But you should just know and accept that and realize that, hey, I want to make something that arguably maybe sucks, but that is like an achievement for me. Because each time you'll just pick up new things and be like, okay, now I understand how to arrange a drop, or oh, now I've really thought and worked on trying to make sure that when I bring new elements into the track and when I take elements away from the track, that it's not jarring. You know, because like the most important thing I think in arranging the music is you at one point you create a loop with like maybe 5 or 6 things going, and that's just 8 bars. And if you just repeat that, you can kind of see that that could be a portion of your song. But then you need to break those elements out and have them come in slowly and all that. So, like, sometimes when you do that, the first time an element comes in, it's just so quantized and too perfect and doesn't have enough delay or reverb that it comes in and it's jarring, you know? So I think one thing is like thinking about the transitions, like when you bring the new elements in.
Mhm.
So I mean, for me, that one of the projects I worked on was just okay. I want to see how smoothly and naturally I can bring new elements and patterns and instruments into the mix without them feeling like they're disrupting what's going on, but instead just kind of adding.
Yeah.
a different layer,
Yeah, but if you make different tracks and every time you do a new one, you just focus on
a
one
different area.
specific new thing. I
Yeah.
mean, eventually all that stuff is going to become a second nature.
Yeah, and giving yourselves like limitations too is really
Ah,
good
that's so good.
for
Yeah,
creativity
yeah.
because then you're like, okay, if you get on the computer, it's the whole analysis paralysis thing. You have too many options.
You can do anything basically.
And so you get bogged down into like, okay, I'm going to spend 4 hours deciding what this sound should sound like instead of just saying, okay, fuck the sound. It needs to be some sort of synth and let's write a chord progression and a melody and a bass line. And I can worry about tweaking the sounds a little bit later.
Hmm.
Because that's one thing that I had a problem with to begin with is I would write like a suboptimal chord progression or maybe not even a real chord progression, just some sort of melody that I was thinking about. And I'd be like, okay, that sounds kind of cool, but now I need to get a really great sound, you know?
Yeah.
And I would sit there scrolling through presets or even tweaking and making my own stuff in Massive. And by the time I arrived at a sound I thought I was happy with, I was sick of the loop. And I couldn't really picture myself making a song out of that. So I just abandoned the project. So now I just start with a piano. Like I just start with a piano, like a normal default grand piano,
Yeah.
put a chord progression, make a melody. And if it sounds good to me with the piano as the only instrument, which is kind of boring for electronic, then I know that I've made something worth changing up to like synths or pads or other effects or
Yeah.
like other
Hmm.
instruments that then I can sequence around that. So that's what I've been doing.
Nice for it.
But I'm excited to hear what you got going.
Me too, I guess.
Well,
Let's
maybe
see.
maybe
Let's see.
maybe in a month we'll have some of our music on the podcast.
Do you want to plug your songs or not
Plug
yet?
my songs? No,
Yeah.
no, not
You want
yet.
to give it some time
I'm
until you
gonna give
feel
it a little
more.
time
All
till I
right.
feel that they're really polished. Because I want to try to make an album this year, drum and bass album.
There you go. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Drum and bass album coming from DJ Ford, right? Maybe not DJ. What you call
DJ
it?
Ford.
DJ Ford.
No.
1 year. So by the end of next year, what? By the end of 2018, you want to have it done?
Yeah, let's say by the end of 2018. That gives me a little extra time, but not too much. Yeah, I'd like to. I want to try to make a couple tracks a week. Out of that, I want to be able to pull. So what's that? If I do a couple tracks a week, I should at least have like 100, 150 finished tracks. And a lot of them arguably maybe will not be incredible, right?
I think it's guaranteed to say that a few of them will definitely not be incredible
Yeah.
for it.
So probably I'm feeling like, maybe if I'm lucky, 10% of them are like what I'm really happy with.
Mhm.
And then I'll kind of narrow down and see about making an album out of that remaining stuff. That's the plan anyway. Who knows? I might get demotivated and give up.
I hope you don't for it.
That's
I think it sounds great.
it's always
I mean, I think the idea sounds great. I think your stuff is clearly getting better.
yeah, takes time. I'm excited
So,
to hear some of your stuff.
yeah, me too. I'm excited to see what comes out of my head.
Well,
On that note, for it, I see what you're trying to get at. Yeah.
what am I trying to get at?
Well, it's like we've been here for 1 hour and 27 minutes, 28 now. You know.
I'm hungry.
So
That's like I'm kind of looking at you
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, it's tea time
I
now.
got restless leg syndrome. I'm
time.
thinking about going to
It's-
get some chips and some sandwich or
It's fun for
oh, actually we have some leftover beans and rice that's really fucking good and we have so much. Do you want some?
maybe.
I'm
I
going to
can-
make a bowl of
Maybe
this.
maybe I
Pretty
can
fucking
try
good,
some.
man.
Maybe I can try some beans and rice. Is it some Cajun food? No.
Kind of, but no, it's not. I mean, we got some Tonys there. You can make it a little Cajun spicy.
All right. Well, on that note, I don't see why I would be podcasting for any long for it.
All
I
right.
want some beans and rice now.
We'll call it that at that point here. And yeah, go get some beans and rice and see you guys next week.
All right. Ta-ta.